What is up, guys? What is up? It is James Lee here from Celestin Capital, and welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to be dissecting this GCAD trade, this beautiful, 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 beautiful GCAD trade that I took during the London session. And I actually documented this trade in the previous video. You can see me trade it live with proof and everything. So you can't say this is fake. You can't say this is cherry picked. I actually showed you guys and documented everything, every single thing. I even showed you guys my MetaTrader, showing you guys the price I entered at and where my TP was. I documented every single part of the live trade. If you want to take a look at the video, if you want to see the proof that I have of me taking this trade live, be sure to watch the previous video. I think it's titled London Session Live Trading GCAD or something like that. But it's the previous video to this one. So let's go ahead and let me dissect this trade for you guys. Let me show you exactly why I entered this trade, how I entered this trade, and why I targeted this high up here. Let's go ahead and get rid of all these right here. And let's replay this back to about, where was it? Right over here, I believe. So as you can see, GCAD is extremely bullish. Now that doesn't mean that you can't catch any sells, right? Because if you look at this, just this one candle right here, this one candle was about 80 pips. You know, that's more than enough for you to survive on, right? 80 pips is beautiful. That can make your entire week. So I wasn't really focused on sells just because, you know, there weren't many areas for me to sell. You know, maybe you could have sold this institutional candle right here, which would have been nice if you had confirmation within here to sell this candle down. But again, there weren't any structure points that I was looking to sell at. Maybe this one, maybe this candle right here. But again, I was more so on the buy side than the sell side. So I was looking for bullishness to continue to the upside to this daily OB that I have marked up, as you can see right here. Now, once price gets up here, I'm looking for price to give me some kind of confirmation to continue to the downside and take out this liquidity point right here. Either over here or somewhere up here, I'm looking for price to reverse and continue to the downside. But again, let's stick to the task at hand and follow exactly why I entered this trade. So if we play this out a little bit, let me actually get rid of this. Play this out a little bit, we'll see something happening within here, right? We see price is currently bullish, and we see something happening within price, right? So actually, let's go back a little bit, right over here. So we see something happening within price. We see price is bullish, but at the same time, we see some kind of schematic happening right here, right? Now, for me, I know there's manipulation happening within here. So I labeled this, and as I went to a lower time frame, I noticed that this was some kind of reaccumulation schematic, because we see price is bullish, price is liquidating the lows, but at the same time, structure to the upside is being broken, right? As you can see, structure to the upside is being broken. So I'm expecting bullishness to continue to the upside. Now, I waited for confirmation. I didn't just want to FOMO into a buy to take it to the upside, because, you know, I want to make sure that I have a nice risk to reward on every one of my trades. I don't just want to have a 60, 80 pip stop loss. I want to make sure that my risk to reward is nice. At least a 1 to 3, 1 to 4 maybe. But this one in particular was a 1 to 6, I believe. And again, if you want to see proof, you can watch the previous video titled Live Session London Trading, somewhere along the lines. Again, let's go back to what I was looking at. So I see reaccumulation happening, right? And then this is what happens. We get a huge impulse to the upside. This huge bullish impulse to the upside right here, as you can see. But before that happened, we see that the lows were liquidated. We see the lows get cleared, and then this huge impulsive move to the upside. So I saw this as liquidity more so than a break of structure. So what did I target? I saw this POI right here. So we have this reaccumulation schematic right here. And then I saw this nice POI right here that I expected price to come back and mitigate. As you can see, if we go to the 4 hour, I used this entire up candle that expected price to mitigate. And we're going to use POI. So reaccumulation, and then we have this POI that expect price to mitigate. Now, as we go to lower time frame, we see that there are some more areas that price can mitigate, right? And here's exactly where I targeted. As you can see, there was another liquidation that happened and a swing low that price left behind, right? So price left this swing low behind that caused this impulsive move to the upside. And none of these candles were mitigated. None of these areas were mitigated. This wasn't mitigated. This wasn't mitigated. We can see that there isn't any mitigation happening. So I'm expecting price to come back to mitigate, to close out some orders, the banks to come back to close out some orders within these areas, within these zones. So I targeted this swing low right here, as you can see, this 3 candle swing low right here, as my area of entry. So I'm going to put this, I put my entry point right here at the top of this candle. And my stop loss would go below the swing low right here because I didn't expect price to go any lower than this. So as we play this out, we see price coming down, price coming down, price coming down. Price eventually comes down and taps our line perfectly. As you can see, this happened. But as I mentioned in the live session video, I had a buy limit on here. But what happened is that spread on GCAD is pretty big. It's usually 3 pips, usually 3-4 pips, which is a lot, especially for me. You know, I like to scalp and I like to have, you know, around 5-10 pip stop losses. Spread for me was about 3-4 pips. So that's an extra 3-4 pips on top of my stop loss. So our buy limit did not get activated just because of spread. It did not get activated. So what do we have to do? We had to readjust and, you know, adapt to what happened in the market. So after price tapped into this area, we saw another impulse to the upside. And this impulse caused a break of structure of this high right here. I'm going to drop down to the 5-minute time frame to show you this. It caused a break of structure of this high right here. So we see structure happening like this, right? Structure. You got microstructure and this high, this last high, and then a push down. And then we see price tap into our area, into our line perfectly, and then a huge impulse to the upside. So what we did was we looked for an area that price could come back and mitigate in order to get in, because again, price already mitigated this area enough. So we weren't expecting a remitigation to happen, something like this. We weren't expecting something like this, just because price had already mitigated enough in our own eyes. So we weren't expecting price to come any lower than this point right here, just because this was the mitigation that happened for this swing low. So if we drop down to the 5-minute time frame, we see what? Another swing low right here, as you can see. Just 1, 2, these 3 candles. Don't worry about this candle right here. Just these 3 candles, we see a swing low. As you can see, price again liquidated the lows, liquidity, and then what? A huge impulse to the upside, which broke structure. Again, which broke this structure high right here. So we're expecting this bullishness to continue to the upside. And what did we target? We targeted this high right here, the high of the swing low. So we put our entry right there. We didn't put a buy limit on this one. We were actually up during the London session to take this trade. So let me do this, get rid of this. We put our entry right over here. So as price, again, we put our stop right, I think our stop loss was about 15 pips. On here, it's a lot different. Our stop was right below this low right here. On MetaTrader, it was 15 pips, just because it's a bit different. The price on there is a bit different than on here. But our stop loss was below this low right here. So as price came, we were getting ready to place the order. Again, there was no buy limit. We activated this order manually. So price was coming down, price was coming down, price was coming down. And price finally taps us in right about there. Beautiful. We had a bit of drawdown, a few pips of drawdown, but we weren't concerned because we weren't expecting, again, we weren't expecting price to go below this low right here just because of how impulsive this move was. We're expecting bullishness to continue and price not to go below this low right here. So again, as you can see, we went in drawdown for a little bit. We weren't worried about it. And then we saw this high get created. And once this high got created and price broke this high, then we were in the safe zone, right? And that's exactly what happened. Price broke that high, and then this trade became a good looking trade. So let's go ahead and continue to play this out. And let me show you our take profit area. Our take profit area was this high right here, just because this was the major structure high that was forming. So we had this reaccumulation and then this high put into place, which is liquidity, because we've got people that sold up here with their stop losses, and then eventually they would probably hold their trade to continue to the downside. But what we were looking to do is fake them out. So we were looking to fake them out into thinking the market's going to continue selling with their stop losses up here, and then eventually take them out with an impulsive bullish move. And that is exactly what happened. We had our break-even level. We actually broke even at this structure high right here. So once price crossed this area, crossed this high, broke this high, we broke even. And our trade was a risk-free trade. We broke even and we partial. We took 50% of this trade. So at the worst case, we made a little bit of money. And at the best case, we made even more money, right? Once you go break even and you've partialed, you know, you don't have to look at the charts anymore. Just let price do its thing. Either it's going to come back and hit you out of break even, or it's going to hit your take profit. And then once price passed this, we're risk-free trade. Perfect. Break even. So as you see, we have this huge impulsive move and price continue to go bullish. Again, we expected price to reverse all the way up here. So we weren't worried about this huge retracement that happened right here. As you can see, this down candle that happened. Never be afraid of retracements, guys, because retracements happen. They happen, and they, you know, it's just part of the trading. So we saw this huge retracement happen, or this slight retracement happening. And then I think this is where we went to sleep. We went to sleep somewhere around 6:30 in the morning, because this was London session, 6:30 in the morning. And then I hopped back onto the charts around 1 p.m. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see price hit our TP live, but price, in fact, did hit our TP, as you can see. Now, this happened around 6:45 in the morning. We went to sleep at 6. We weren't expecting price to hit our TP 45 minutes later. We thought it was going to retrace even more down to some lower demand zones and then continue up. So if, you know, price continued bullish and didn't give us this retracement right here, we would have seen price hit TP live, and you guys would have witnessed it. But, you know, I have proof that price actually hit our TP. Again, if you want to look at the video, if you want to see the proof, be sure to check out the last video titled Live Session London Trading, somewhere around that area. Again, as you can see, price hit TP, and then price started to reverse. But we're not expecting any major reverse from here. We're expecting price to continue to the upside into this daily OB up here, as I mentioned before. This was a beautiful trade, a beautiful trade. I hope you guys understood how I dissected this trade, why I entered this trade, why I decided to be a part of this trade. And as you can see, price is continuing up. This is live market. As you can see, the timer is counting down. This is a live market, and we're expecting price to continue to the upside. Targets have been met, so we're not worried about it. So we're not going to take any sells up until price gets into this area. Now, once price breaks this high, we're going to potentially look for some retracements down to continue up. And we're hopefully going to catch a nice entry to take price up to our sell zone again. So this is how we look at the markets. This is how I look at the market specifically. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this made sense for you guys. And again, this was all documented. This was all proof that happened. We weren't able to get in on this because of spread, but we were able to adjust. That's what the market is about. Adjusting, guys, adjusting. We can see some trendline liquidity forming right here. We're able to adjust and get in on this re-entry right over here. And price took us all the way to the upside. Targets were met, and it was just a beautiful trade, guys. Again, if you want to check that trade out, check out the last video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to stay tuned for more content. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button. And if you want to stay tuned for more, be sure to subscribe and turn post notifications on. If you have any questions for me, be sure to leave them down in the description below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm expecting to do more live session tradings. Whether I lose or win, I'm going to post the videos. I usually trade New York, but, you know, this particular day I decided to trade London, and it turned out great. So, again, I'm looking to do more live tradings for you guys, just to show you guys how I capitalize on the markets. And yeah, I hope you guys want to stay tuned for more. I hope you guys are excited to see more of it. Again, if you want to stay tuned for more, be sure to subscribe and turn post notifications on. Peace out, guys.